I'm wearing a coat because it's cold as hell in the UK and the door's open for my dog. Bing bang bosh, let's go. So I'm a little late on this video. Yes, I know, we're about 15 days into January. I get it, I'm late, but it's coming. It's here today. Today we're going to be going over my favorite games of this year and my worst games of this year. I'm going to do it in a top 5 of each, and I'm going to let you know. Some of these games aren't from 2023. I'm going to cheat because I didn't play many games this year, as some of you may know, because it's expensive as hell. 70 quid is just very expensive, man. It's very expensive, so let's do it. So these are my top 5 best games of 2023, but going back further years. Bosh. Number 5, I'm going to cheat straight away. The Arkham games. Yes, I know, I'm doing 4 games in one. I know, it's my channel, okay? Cry about it, my friends. Cry about it. Right. I'm putting it in this list, 1, because the Arkham games are the reason this channel did so well at the start, because I made a video on them, and 2, I just love these games. Every time I go back to play them, every single one of them, Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight, all of them, I like them all. Some are better than others, that's very true. Arkham Knight, the story isn't as good as the other 3 games, but I think Arkham Knight explores themes that are far more interesting compared to the other games. I made a whole ranking on them, okay? You can watch them just there, you can watch it there. If you haven't watched it, it's the original video on the channel. The audio is a little bit shit, but it doesn't matter because it's an enjoyable video, I think. So give it a shot. Dislike it if you don't like it. Anyway, let's continue. Arkham Asylum, it's just, you know, it's first off, nostalgia. Bosh, nostalgia. 2009, Arkham Asylum comes out. Superhero games just aren't that good at that time. 2004, you got Spider-Man 2. 2005, you got Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't like Ultimate Spider-Man that much. I said it. I'm sorry. Cry about it. But Arkham Asylum comes out and just blows everyone away. Everyone's like, oh my god, superhero games can actually be good. Oh, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. Arkham City comes out. It's even better. Then Arkham Origin comes out, and it's about the same as the other 2. And then Arkham Knight comes out and it's slightly worse. It's just one of them. But I played all 4 of these games this year. Well, last year. Jesus. Last year. My god, 2023's gone already. Oh no, please, I don't have time. But I just love them so much. I just love all of these games. Yes, sure, the last 2 sequels probably aren't as good as the first 2. But let's be honest, they're still enjoyable games. If you had a good time with them, at launch, or a year after, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years, or whatever, if you've had a good time with them, they're good games. That's one thing about this industry, well, at least reviewers anyway. Everyone becomes very cynical because of the way the industry's gone. But the reality is, if you had a good time the first time you played it, not the second, not the third, whatever, and you enjoyed it, you had a good time, it's not a bad game. You enjoyed yourself, man. You enjoyed yourself. Just accept that fact. Just accept it. But yeah, the Arkham quadrilogy, I'm including Origins, is number 5. Number 4, The Witcher 3. Another game that isn't from 2023. I know, I get it, we'll get there. The Witcher 3 is just one of those games, just like the Arkham quadrilogy, where I can just go back to it and have an absolute blast. How did I play The Witcher 3 this year? Well, I got a new job in September, and we had a 2-week onboarding process. But the onboarding process really didn't require you to, you know, be present. So you go on, it was a work from home job, so you go on the little PowerPoint thing, you're in a Zoom call or whatever you want to call it, and you just sit there and listen. I didn't listen. I spent 2 weeks completing The Witcher 3 again, and I completed it within those 2 weeks. In fact, I completed it in a week and a half. And my god, replaying it while at work, mate, getting paid to play it, it just brought a warmth to my heart, man. It just nails it. The Witcher 3 just absolutely kills it in pretty much every department. Open world's great to explore. Story is pretty great. Voice acting's pretty great. I mean, a couple people are a bit shit in it, but I got a load of comments on my Witcher 3 video, which you can also watch just there, saying, oh, the voice acting was perfect, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't perfect for me. But overall, it's just a fantastic game. It's infinitely replayable for me. I've played it like 10 times at this point. The combat is great, the customization is great, the side missions are fantastic, the main storyline, the main quests at least, are really well made. They're just super fun. Like, there isn't a bad quest in there, I don't think. And that's because The Witcher 3 focuses on one specific thing when it comes to gameplay outside of exploration, and that's just combat. There's no forced stealth sections because they feel like they need to add stealth in for gameplay variety. There's none of that. It just focuses on combat. You go into combat, you've got your potions, you've got your spells, you've got your swords, and you've customized your character to the absolute best of your ability to suit your playstyle, and you just go have a blast. What more can you ask for? What more can you ask for, my friends? What more can you ask for? Witcher 3 gets the 4th spot. Yeah. I promise, 2024, at the end of the year, I'll play more 2024 games, okay? But then again, I'm probably going to play a ton of 2023 games when they go on sale, like Resident Evil 4 and various other games. Yeah, so, we'll see. Number 3, I was debating whether to put it on the list, but I realised there aren't many 2023 games on my list apart from, you know, the worst games. So, Spider-Man 2. I was going to give this to Prototype. If you haven't played Prototype, it's fucking amazing, okay? It's amazing. That's all I'll say on Prototype. But Spider-Man 2, even though I prefer Spider-Man 2018 over Spider-Man 2, it's still a fantastic game. You can still have an absolute blast with it. It takes everything that Spider-Man 2018 does, makes some changes that I wasn't personally a fan of, but it doesn't really take away too much from the gameplay. And you can see that in the comments of the last video I just made. That was very interesting to read, because a lot of people did actually prefer Spider-Man 2 over Spider-Man 2018 in terms of gameplay and story. So I guess I'm just kind of the odd one out, I guess, because I really did prefer 2018 over Spider-Man 2 in almost every way, but I still had a blast with Spider-Man 2 when I first played it. And going back to the point I made with the Arkham games, if you had a bloody blast the first time you played it, or the second or the third, as long as you've had a one playthrough where you had a blast, it's a good game. And Spider-Man 2 is definitely a good game. Has a few flaws that I'm not, you know, that did piss me off a little bit. But I'm not going to sit here and say it's bad, because it's not bad. It's not a bad game. In fact, it's very good. You get to be Spider-Man. You get to be Miles Morales Spider-Man. You get powers, and you swing around the city, and you're super quick. But come on, man. How can you not have fun with it? That's all I'm saying. Spider-Man 2, you get number 3, my friend. Number 2. You may have not heard of this one. It didn't really sell too well, but it got a lot of great reviews. It's called Sifu. Sifu is fantastic. Sifu is absolutely fantastic. Going back to what I was saying about The Witcher 3, Sifu has one focus. Melee combat. Hand-to-hand combat. And it's fucking amazing. So, essentially, Sifu, what is it? It's sort of a beat-em-up. It's sort of a beat-em-up, but it's not really a beat-em-up because it's far more intricate and a bit more engaging than a beat-em-up where you just spam the same combos over and over again. Sifu, you have 5 levels, okay? It's just 5 levels. Oh, that's short, innit? Come on, Sticky Man, 5 levels. Come on, man. What is this? Number 2 on your top 5. The point of these levels is you have to fail. You have to fail in these levels, and you go back to the beginning, and you keep doing them until you perfect them, because there is a mechanic in Sifu where you age every time you die. So you start at age 20, you die once, you're 21, you die again, you're 23, you die again, you're 26. It doubles every time you die. And the key is to get through all 5 levels at the lowest age possible, which is age 20. You don't have to do that, but that's the biggest challenge of the game. And it is an absolutely fucking superb game. Superb game. Really replayable as well. You could do multiple runs. You could choose to not use certain abilities and try to beat the bosses. And the bosses, actually I need to get to the bosses. The bosses are absolutely fantastic as well. They all have their own move sets that completely vary up how you're going to fight them. They have different combos. You have to parry at a specific time. You have to dodge. Sometimes you can't even dodge them. You got to do, like jump and you know, it's just fucking amazing. And each level is wonderfully designed. It is kind of like a Metroidvania game in a sense. It's not like a proper Metroidvania like Prince of Persia, the Lost Crown that I'm playing right now, which by the way, it's fucking amazing. Well, I'll make a video on that in a couple days time. It's not like that, but there is loads of different like shortcuts to get to the bosses quicker the next time you replay a mission. And just overall, it's just a fantastic game, and it just feels great to play. It feels fantastic to play. It's got a lovely art style. It's got a great soundtrack. Voice acting isn't really needed in the game. There's not much voice acting apart from the when you get fucking punched or you punch someone else, which is also quite funny. So Sifu absolutely gets second place. So what's my favorite game of this year? I mean, if you watch the review, I made a review on it a couple back in October, I think. My number 1 game, my favorite game of this year, it's Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. You fucking what? A DLC? Are you insane? This is not a DLC, lads. I mean, it is a DLC, but it didn't feel like a DLC at all. When I first played it and I made my review, I was being very critical. I still loved it. I said I loved it, but I was being critical. But over the last couple months, as it aged with me, and you got to think about it a bit more, and you just start thinking about the intricacies of it, the brand new story, the new mechanics, the complete overhaul to Cyberpunk's base game. I think it's an absolute fucking achievement. Now, I will admit, the game should have launched in this state. I completely agree with you. Well, not the story stuff, but the changes to gameplay that came with Phantom Liberty should have been in the game at the beginning. I agree. But that being said, the fact it even got updated shows that CD Projekt Red are still the GOATs, man. They're still the GOATs. Even Rockstar can't live up to this level of quality after an initial release. The last DLC that Rockstar made, which was actually fantastic, was Red Dead Redemption Undead Nightmare. Since then, they've done nothing. CD Projekt Red, they've killed it. They've absolutely killed it. And Phantom Liberty is just fantastic, man. The DLC story is brilliant. Idris Elba is very, just kind of, you know, he's a bit weird, actually. I'm not a big fan of him in Phantom Liberty. I usually like him, but he's got this really weird accent going on. It just doesn't work. But yeah, it just brings so many overhauls to gameplay that just blew me away, and replaying it really did feel like a completely different game to me, which is why I count it as a new game, because it feels like a new game. Yeah, it's still got the same story as the base game, but who cares? The story was already pretty good. And the DLC itself, honestly, the way they end it, depending on the choice you make, the ending I got, the more I think about it, the more impressive it is, because there's so many different, like, character plot points that are going on there, character development, who you're going to trust, what you're going to do, and it really does make you feel like you're a part of the world, and the world is revolving not around you, but you are just a part of the world. You know what I mean? Some RPGs, like Bethesda games, for example, they tend to make the character the thing the world revolves around, whereas in Cyberpunk, you're just another guy in this world. Yeah, I just love that. I just wish more games would do it. But yeah, absolutely, Cyberpunk gets top place. Absolutely loved it. One of my favorite games of 2023. This list may change over time. I don't know. Who cares? Once I've made the video, it's set in stone, right? People can't change opinions. That's illegal. Bosh. Anyway, we should get to the worst games of this year. Technically. Okay, so I'm struggling what to really put down on this list, because as you know, I don't like being negative, but just based on my own experiences, this is the top 5. Number 5, and I know it's going to piss people off, Battlefield 2042. I played Battlefield 2042 this year for that video that I made about it, the fact it's dead. It's not technically dead, I was wrong about that, but for me, 2042 why am I trying to talk like I know these words? Encapsulates everything that I didn't want Battlefield to become. They've tried to broaden their target audience so much that it's really pushed away any like traditional Battlefield fan. And when I say traditional, the guys that played Battlefield back in like the early 2000s, you know, Battlefield 2, all them, they're gone. This game does not represent anything close to those old games. Whether some people are, like think that's good, that's fair enough. It's completely up to you. But I think Battlefield 2042 has took such a massive U-turn on what Battlefield is. It pushed away a ton of Battlefield players that just aren't interested in anymore. I made a whole video on it. I know I keep advertising other videos, but it's just, you know, if you want more in-depth opinions on this, I make videos on them all the time. There's a video here called What Happened to Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I go a bit more in depth into it. But I think 2042, as the game itself, just does not represent what Battlefield is. It doesn't feel like Battlefield. Sure, I'm sure the game is great now. I'm sure it plays perfectly fine for what the game is. But no matter how many patches you put in, no matter how many changes you add to time to kill or vehicles or anything like that, it still won't feel like that classic Battlefield experience I think we all wanted from a new modern day Battlefield. And I'm going to call it modern day. They said it in 2042 because they clearly ran out of ideas for all the modern stuff. But, you know, I call it modern day because it is modern day. It's only 20 years away. Come on. Less than that. It's like 17 years away. Just come off it. Come off it. Come off it. Come off it, Battlefield. Stop. But yeah, I'm not going to say... I put it at number 5 because I know a lot of people do enjoy it. And I don't think it's a terrible game. But it's just not for me, and I just did not enjoy it. Every time I've tried to replay it, I tried to play it at launch, I tried to play the beta, I tried to play it in 22, I tried to play it in 23, and it just never quite latched itself onto me, which is unfortunate. But hey, I hope the next Battlefield game, because it's going to be made, is better and more suited to me. If you enjoy it, go fuck yourself. I want a new Battlefield game. Just accept an L for once. I've accepted so many L's, okay? Just accept the L. Let us have a new traditional Battlefield, okay? That's just me. But yeah, moving on. Number 4. This is going to be a curveball, okay? Because this, I forgot I even played it this year. You're going to be like, what the fuck, Sticky Man? What is this? Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. Yes, the 2010 Star Wars game. Yeah, it's number 4. Why is this on the list? It's because it's a game I played in 2023. I played The Force Unleashed, the original 2008 one, this year as well. I enjoyed that a ton. It was like a fantastic game. It's not like the best game of this year, obviously, but playing Force Unleashed 2 was such a downgrade to Force Unleashed 1. It has to be on this list. Everything about Force Unleashed 2 absolutely disappointed me. The combat was worse, the story was worse, the locations was worse, the level design was worse, the soundtrack was worse, the voice acting was worse, the script was worse, everything was worse, customization was worse, everything was just worse. Everything about it, which is why it gets number 4. I don't even want to talk about it that much. Combat was an absolute mess. All the boss fights were quick time events. Star Wars Force Unleashed 1, that had quick time events, absolutely, but there was some sort of like boss encounter before the quick time events happened. Whereas in Force Unleashed 2, every boss fight just immediately becomes a quick time event. It's an absolute disaster. It's a shitty Netflix show. That's what it is. It doesn't feel like a game. The levels that you play just feel like they're advertisements, like they're loading screens, if anything. And it was just a bit disappointing for me. And I just, that's why it gets number 4. The less I talk about it, the better. Anyway, let's move on. This one's kind of I feel like a kind of a piece of shit for picking it, but I did play it this year, and I enjoyed it a little bit, but it's still an absolutely terrible game. Number 3, Marvel's Avengers. I know Avengers is an easy one to pick on. I get it. It wasn't very popular when it launched. It didn't review very well. It didn't sell very well. But that doesn't change the fact that I played it this year, and it was really bad, okay? When I initially played it, like the first, 4 hours, I actually had a very good time. I was enjoying it. I was playing through different levels. They all looked different. There was a bit of variety to them. And I made a review on it on Jack's Game Reviews. I made a review on it and it said, hey, it's actually not that bad. If you want to pick it up for £5, go ahead. But as I played more into it after I made the review, because I don't stop playing games after I've made the review. I like to play games in my free time as well when I'm not reviewing them. But as I played more of it, it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. Every mission played the same. Every character felt like they played the same in some sense. Iron Man, oh, you can fly. Ooh, Hulk, oh, you can jump. The only differences between these characters are the movement systems. But they all do the same thing. At the end of the day, it's the same thing. You're just moving. The combat just plays the exact same for every character. It's kind of insane that they greenlit this game and they allowed it to be released, but it's dead now. It's officially dead, I'm pretty sure. Like, they stopped supporting it completely in 2023. So, as I said, it's an easy one to pick, but the reality is, I didn't play that many bad games this year. So, Avengers is just going to be there. It's just going to be one of them. 2023 was a fantastic year, so it just is what it is. And obviously, this game didn't come out in 2023, but as I've said, I'm just going to do anything at this point. Speaking of which, number 2, Far Cry 6. Yep, Far Cry games. Woo, I love Far Cry games. They were so much fun. Now, I'm sure some of you may have watched. I did make a ranking series on Far Cry as well. You can watch that up here. Yeah. It's about 20 minutes, something like that. 20 minutes long, something like that. You can argue in the comments as well if you do go to it. But Far Cry 6 is definitely the worst Far Cry I've ever played, pretty much. Pretty much. Not because it has the worst mechanics, not because it has the worst story, not because it has the worst world. I just found it incredibly boring. And that is worse. You could be a bad game and still have some good moments. But if you're a boring game, why the fuck am I going to play a boring game? Why the fuck am I going to come back from work, sit on my damn chair, boot up Far Cry 6, and stare at the screen like this? Why would I do that to myself? I'll just play something I actually enjoy. You know what I mean? And that's why it gets the number 2 spot, because it's just boring. Ubisoft haven't innovated with the Far Cry franchise in a decade, bro. A decade. Just think about that. 10 years of your life. Imagine working for Ubisoft doing just Far Cry for 10 years of your life, doing the exact same thing over and over again. Sounds to me like that's the definition of insanity. Wait, I'm sure you haven't heard that joke before. I'm so funny. I should be a comedian. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, everything about Far Cry 6 just pisses me off. It's just boring. Driving's boring. The shooting's boring. The exploration's boring. The characters are boring. Everything about it is boring. And it is too long. It is so overly extended. Everything about it. Every section, you have to do a ton of missions to meet a specific person. Then you have to do a mission for this specific person. Then you have to follow the specific person. It's just fucking boring. I don't want to play anymore. I don't even like Far Cry 3 that much anymore, because every time I go back to it, I know that it reminds me of Far Cry 6 and Far Cry 5 and Far Cry 4 and everything like that. Far Cry 4 is actually decent, actually. I'll take that back. But Far Cry 6 just ruined my luck on the franchise. I still play Far Cry 3 though. I still do it out of respect for a game that, you know, was actually quite enjoyable to play when I was a kid. But yeah, it gets the number 2 spot. And number 1. Some of you will be happy about this because I haven't made a video on it yet. I don't think I will, because I just don't want to be honest with you. Number 1, and it came out this year. Have a guess. It's a Ubisoft game. Yeah, you got it? Okay. Avatar Frontiers of fucking boredom. That's what Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is. Avatar, everything about this game pissed me off. Everything about it. I am filming this during the editing. I completely forgot that Redfall exists. Redfall is also number 1, but for obvious reasons, I'm not going to talk about it too much. But it's also number 1. They you know, I think it's okay to put them together. So yeah, Redfall's fucking awful, but Avatar was insulting. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it because it's just going to piss me off. It's going to ruin my day. It's going to ruin my day, man. Let's get on with it. Right, first off, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora is Far Cry but worse. It is Far Cry, what's that fucking, Far Cry Primal. That's it, Far Cry Primal. Let me get my words out. It's Far Cry Primal, but somehow worse. Somehow worse. Yes. Is the world beautiful? Which is what every reviewer said and gave it 7, 8s and 9s out of 10. Yeah, the world's fucking great to look at. But the world was already created for them. In a sense, James Cameron did all this. All the animators did all this back in 2009, bro. The world's great to look at, yeah. But there's nothing to fucking do in it. There's nothing to do in it. The stuff that you can do in it is copy and paste. Go over here, sniff some shit. Fucking fuck off over there, shoot some enemies, do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same fucking thing every single time, and it drives me up the wall. It just drives me up the wall. It is beyond tiresome at this point. It's beyond playable. It's beyond. It belongs in hell. It belongs in hell. It's that boring. It's that boring. Your character, how do you upgrade your character? Well, you have to go and do 50 different missions to get fucking 2% damage boost. 2% damage boost. Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Stealth, Far Cry games. Far Cry stealth games. Okay, well, Far Cry games with its stealth was decent. They were never the best. They were never the best, but somehow Avatar takes all of that and makes it worse. You can barely stealth kill enemies in this game. Stealth is like completely useless because you line up your shot, you have to hit a specific target point to take out an enemy, especially one of those mech enemies. And half the time the shot doesn't even register, or the shot registers about 50 feet above where you actually shot it. It's so outrageously bad. It's outrageously bad, and I can't believe the amount of positive reviews it got. How many positive reviews it got? I don't know how people enjoyed it. You're just gonna be running in the same direction for 50 fucking minutes, and then you're finally gonna get a flying creature, and then you're gonna fly in a specific direction for 50 fucking minutes. You're gonna shoot some enemies, and you're gonna pick some fucking plants, and you're gonna keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. And I haven't even got into the story. The story is complete trash. Please don't play this game. And secondly, what am I about? I've gone about 50 things here. There's a survival system. There's a fucking survival system. So it delays your progression so significantly. Every 5 fucking minutes, it's gonna say, you are hungry. You need to eat some food. You'd think you could pick up food off enemies, right? Well, you can. There's one food, but it barely does anything. It does 25% of your food bar. So what do you have to do? You have to go around this planet and pick loads of plants. Yeah? Oh, I can eat the plants, right? Fuck off, can you? You're gonna have to take all these plants you've got, fast travel to somewhere else, cook the fucking food, and you have to watch the same damn animation over and over again. Feed yourself. Good. I fed myself, right? I can keep going. Let's get on my animal thing to fly to this location. Oh, your animal's hungry now. Okay, my animal's hungry. Great, my animal's hungry. Great. I could just feed the food that I already made, right? No, you can't. What are you on about? You can't do that. Okay, so you jump off your fucking animal, you go off, you pick some fucking plants, you come back, and you feed your fucking animal thing, your flying thing, whatever it's called. Yeah? Yeah, great. So now you can go do the mission, right? Yeah, great. So you get on your animal. Halfway to the fucking destination, your animal's already hungry again. So you get off, you get some food, pop it in its mouth. Ooh, great. And you go off again. And then by the time you get to the fucking mission, by the time you get there, guess what? Oh, your character is hungry. Get fucked, Ubisoft. I'm done. I can't be asked. I can't be asked. There are ways to mitigate it. I will talk more about it in the review I make, but it's not enough to justify playing this game. I couldn't complete it. I got to like level at 12 or something, and there's only 20 levels in the game, and I had enough. Could not do it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're happy with this video, please like it. I'd really appreciate that. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Totally get it. I didn't actually talk about many 2023 games here, but hey, it is what it is. Okay. Thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. Stick with the Sticky Man by subscribing if you haven't already, and if you have, you already know what I think. I just gotta thank you again and again and again. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. It really means a lot. Hopefully 2024 is going to be fantastic for us, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys in the comments. That'd be brilliant. Oh, and also join the Discord. Join the Discord. It's in the description. We have 23 people in there. I have some plans for it. I've been neglecting it, but I have some plans for it. Get in there and just enjoy yourself. But yeah, all right, cheerio, fellas. Have a good day.